Now, one way we recognize WSWA's strong tradition of leadership, community engagement, and philanthropy within our tier is with the presentation of the Lifetime Leadership Award. This award is given each year to the wholesaler whose contributions over the course of his life and to the association and the beverage alcohol industry defines excellence, inspires loyalty, and exemplifies leadership. I am proud to present this year's award to a man who is a giant in our field and a true gentleman, Richard Leventhal, Chairman and CEO of the Jersey-based Fedway Associates. Richard personifies a can-do, humble, but remarkably effective leadership style. He's a man widely admired by his peers, his competitors, his employees, his supplier and retailer partners. Richard was born into a middle-class family in the Bronx. He attended New York City public schools growing up. His father was an accountant, his mother a traditional homemaker. He graduated from SUNY Buffalo in 1968 and earned his MBA from the University of Chicago. He began his career as a software and management consultant, including working with companies such as the Celanese Corporation. He later joined the Seagram Company, working in finance and credit, where he impressed company leaders like Harold Fieldsteel with his keen mind and ability to master complex problems and give sound financial advice. He used those skills to drive the acquisition of Fedway Associates in 1978 at just 32 years of age. Contrary to the conventional wisdom, Richard was not financed by Seagram, but merely approved as a buyer. As Harold told Richard when Leventhal asked for his approval to pursue the company, well, if I say no, I lose you. And if I say yes, at least I have you as a distributor. So go ahead, put together the deal, and we'll give you 30 days additional credit, but don't ask for anything else. Well, the rest is history. Under Richard's leadership, Fedway has enjoyed phenomenal success, growing revenue for 33 consecutive years. When he began, the company was one of 20 distributors in New Jersey and had revenue just under $75 million. The company's biggest volume brands, Majorska and Wolfschmidt Vodka, and Paul Masson and Manischewitz wines. Today, gross sales are well in excess of $600 million a year. Now, Richard's biggest challenge would come not from a competitor or the economy, but from Mother Nature. In the wake of Hurricane Sandy, Fedway suffered a catastrophic loss of inventory, facilities, and equipment. Think about this. Fedway lost half their main warehouse, 100 trucks destroyed, warehouse and office facilities flooded 10 feet high, debris everywhere beyond repair, a total disaster. Now, some might have considered giving up in the face of such a daunting challenge. But Richard Leventhal and his team did not hesitate for a moment. His leadership and can-do spirit led to an amazing story of recovery that showcases the camaraderie and unique nature of our business. The day after the storm ravaged the offices and warehouse, Richard had already developed a plan. Now, the fact that he understood the financial, the engineering, the logistical, the technological, the physical, the electrical, a multitude of disciplines necessary to get Fedway back to business is only part of it. Just as important was the credit he had earned with every vendor, employee, supplier, and service contractor as a gentleman and a man of his word since day one of his career. That record of character was the crucial element in being able to put together the manpower, much of it voluntary, to do 6 months' work in just 3 weeks. 150 people per shift, 3 shifts a day, 8 hours a shift for 3 weeks. Managers working next to drivers, next to order takers, next to administrative staff doing just terribly filthy and dirty work. Under Richard's leadership, Fedway pulled together to reach a miraculous end result. I encourage you to look at the screens and take a quick look.
Standing in the wake of devastation, you were waiting on the edge of the unknown, and with the cataclysm raining down, insides crying, save me now, you were there impossibly alone.
to focus on the positive things that you can do today and every day. And one day you look back and it really happened. The path is known and the result will be achieved.
What a remarkable story. And the words you heard, simple, direct, motivating, were real. They were Richard's. He's an inspirational leader. But he's also a leader when it comes to philanthropy. Richard and Fedway have generously supported the Make-A-Wish Foundation and many other organizations in his home state. But in addition to his contributions, Richard gives them himself, although in keeping with his humility, he doesn't like to share this part of his life. Just one example. He calls bingo on Thursday nights at a local senior citizen center, a home he supports in his local area. And of course, Richard has been a very strong advocate of WSWA. He and his wife are members of WSWA PAC's Sapphire Club, and he implemented company-wide payroll deduction, which has led to over 300 of his employees contributing to the PAC, totaling over $60,000 annually. He is a long-serving member of the WSWA Board of Directors, including a term as large member caucus representative to the Executive Committee, and he sits on the board of the WSWA Educational Foundation. I personally can always count on Richard to give me his unvarnished, clear, bottom-line opinion. And I can always count on it being informed, insightful, and helpful. I'm honored to recognize this year's Lifetime Achievement Award winner, Richard Leventhal.
Thank you very much. Great. Thank you all very much. It's a very special honor. But before I give a few remarks, let me take a moment to thank the WSWA Board of Directors, the Executive Committee, Craig Wolf, and the members at large for this very, very special honor. A Lifetime Achievement Award conjures up an image of a man of years, tried and tested by time. In my case, however, there seemed to be something wrong with that image. After all, in my eyes, I'm still a kid, doing what I enjoy doing, planning my next opportunity, and being thankful for having a wonderful wife, 4 healthy children, 2 healthy grandchildren, a great company, and enjoying it all with incredible people. In my mind, the Lifetime Achievement Award goes to the giants of our industry: Vern Underwood, Bill Goldring, Ray Herman, Bobby Epstein, Robert Lippman, Bennett Glazer, Harvey Chaplin, Bill Wirtz, Mike Carlos, and Ray Ty. But as I began to reflect on my own personal 40 years in the beverage alcohol industry, my first 5 years with the Seagram Company, and now going on as 35 years as a wholesaler, my self-image of being a kid started to look a little less objective. Yet to this very moment, and with utmost humility, I do not consider myself in the same league as the giants who have come before me and have been so honored with this Lifetime Leadership Award. But what I do believe is that I, like those who have come before me, have come to understand the great privilege it is to make a life's career in our industry. The dynamic relationship between wholesalers and suppliers, retailers and consumers is like no other industry and certainly like no other product category. At any given moment within our industry, one member is girding for battle with another, and yet at the very next moment, they can coalesce into a formidable force for the common good. It is remarkable, to say the least. The phenomenal camaraderie of our industry was dramatically brought into focus for me, personally, and up close this past year. After Hurricane Sandy struck, our company, as Craig mentioned, was literally devastated. We would come to lose 100 delivery trucks, our entire telephone system, the entire first floor of our office building, every tow motor, every order picker, every single electronic component or device on the ground level of our warehouse would be destroyed. And as we would later tally up, we would lose almost 600,000 cases of wines and spirits, and it would all happen within 8 hours as Sandy's storm surge pushed through New York Harbor, cresting at 13.5 feet above mean high tide. The Kearney Peninsula, the home of Fedway, is 3 miles wide and 10 miles long. And the storm surge in the harbor would result in over 10 feet of water spread over the entire peninsula and merge the two bordering rivers, and they would run as one. 6 feet of water would come to rest inside our buildings. Hurricane Sandy affected me in a way certainly that no other external event had ever done in my entire life. In front of my eyes, the prospect of the total destruction of the largest of our family's several economic entities was for all intent and purposes upon our family. The risks of reconstruction were, to say the least, formidable, and the consequences of trying and failing quite unthinkable. Yet the alternative of liquidating the company was simply not acceptable. Without exaggeration, the future of almost 600 families would hang in the balance. On October 30th, less than 24 hours after Sandy had struck, my wife and I took the decision to reconstruct the companies, and on November 1st, I assembled our entire workforce to set forth our objectives and our plan of action. I invoked the words of John F. Kennedy when in 1961 he announced to our nation that we would land a man on the moon, when at that very moment in time our nation possessed neither the rocket nor the technology to do so. But he believed in the resourcefulness and talents of the American people. And I, like JFK, believed in the talents and resourcefulness of the people of Fedway. And I set a goal to resume operations by November 18th. With that stake in the ground, we set forth to utilize every resource available to us. And God smiled once again upon our family, and the companies were put back into operation in a time frame that was quite unimaginable. And we commenced shipping on November 17th, 2013, 19 days after the storm had struck. And we did it all with temporary power generation, as no power was available for 2 full weeks. While there is no vocabulary to describe the destruction we witnessed, there are now plenty of memories that tell the story of our restoration effort. Certainly our employees, our managers, and our administrators worked tirelessly in the cleanup effort. But it was the extraordinary support of our supplier partners that were key to putting us back in business in a mere 19 days after Hurricane Sandy struck. Without the aid of computers or landline telephones, our organization, in concert with our supplier partners, would commence a process that would ultimately result in shipments and receivings of over 1.5 million cases over the next 45 days, while our company would simultaneously ship 1 million cases to our retail customers between November 17th and December 31st. The company would come to achieve the highest December sales volume in its history, mitigating our losses for the calendar year to a decline of just 2.5%. The wholesale community, led by Southern Wine and Spirits, the Chalmers Sunbelt Group, NDC Republic, Allied Beverage of New Jersey, loaned us trucks, tow motors, order pickers, until permanent replacements could be sourced. Moral support and well wishes poured in from wholesalers and retailers. Our traditional equipment suppliers and tradespeople, in concert with our workforce and outside disaster recovery teams, worked around the clock to realize the seemingly impossible. The phrase, "the force is with you," never was more appropriate than at that moment. Without the force of goodwill and the very tangible resources of others, we simply would not have survived. Yes, we are privileged to work in an extraordinary industry with extraordinary people who do extraordinary things every day. My story may be more dramatic than another, but the single most important lesson from Sandy is that in times of true crisis, the very best in human nature comes out, and every tier of our industry can count on every other tier to bring them through to fight another day. Our industry has undergone enormous change and a remarkable consolidation, and that consolidation is most likely still a work in progress. Yet, in spite of this relentless drive to reduce, on this day, October 29th, 2012, your industry, our industry, my industry, rallied like no other to preserve the lifeblood of one of its members. I stand here today humbled and accept this honor in the names of the 600 families that you saved through your efforts. Thank you.